The transfer talk is over. Transfer deadline day has been gone. And we have signed on deadline day announced one that came out of the blue pretty much, actually.
No, it came out of nowhere.
Absolutely nowhere. Is it Sadio? Or Sidio? Or Sido?
BERHAHINO.
BERHAHINO.
I've been practicing.
Epic. I'm going to take that for... I've also started using the word epic ironically, and it's in my vocabulary. You're watching something develop, by the way. He's a player that comes to us with an interesting past, but I remember that I said on deadline day, this is a FIFA wonder kid. This was a FIFA wonder kid. If you sign this guy from West Brom back in the day, he was quality. And I don't want us to lead on the negative there. I feel like we're going to have to speak about it in this topic a little bit. We're going to have to talk about the circumstances surrounding the player in the past, just because we wouldn't be doing our duties on a podcast here. But I do want to say, I think this is a positive thing if he's coming under a manager he can trust. How did you feel about this signing?
I got very excited about this signing, especially after watching an interview you did on another podcast with Rio Ferdinand during the summer break, and it was very interesting hearing how things happened and what happened. He sounds like a very grounded young man now, and someone who matured. And the thing that got me is how much he keeps talking about how Darren Moore was a big father figure to him when he was at West Brom. He mentioned it today in the interview we did for Wednesday. I met Darren Moore on my first day of the under-12s and got a tour around the stadium.
Yeah. He also called him huge. Moro, which is...
Yeah, I didn't like that.
What? Right, for one, why are we going to... Why is Moro where you go...
Mourinho.
Where you go... I don't know. I just felt...
Yeah.
I was a little bit taken back by that. I didn't like that one. But, yeah, he's spoken well. He kept getting the word... We've brought the word massive back. It took us getting relegated to League One for players to start bringing massive back in their interviews.
To be fair, I think there's a couple of lads who are in the media team who are Wednesday fans now who are going, you need to drop this in. If you don't drop it in, we'll have hell on Twitter. Say it.
Yeah. And Barry Bannon's back on Twitter, which is...
Yeah, it's lovely. It's actually really nice to see, actually. Started really well. And what gets me about this...
I mean, you can follow me, Barry. That is... just saying.
What gets me about this deal is that it's a win-win for us. If it works, fantastic. If it don't, it's only a year deal and not much wages.
Mm-hmm.
But under Darren Moore, I had the funny thing. He got this ability to get the best out of players when they're not great. I just feel like he's that kind of person. And if this is someone who BERHAHINO trusts massively, it's going to help a lot. And I'm still kind of shocked he's still a Wednesday player, actually. This is one that still hasn't really settled in for me because I wasn't expecting it. And if you now look at us up front, we're pretty heavily stacked.
Yeah, which is what I was worried about quite. That and goalkeeping, I was worried about those positions so much, as a lot of the fan base were going into this season. You know, it was our troubled position, so to speak. So he's 28.
Yep.
He was born in Burundi. Well, that's where his national allegiance is. He captains them apparently. Let's talk about his career. So, West Brom was where he made his name, right? And I even remember the talks at the time about, oh, look at this player at West Brom. 2013-14 in the Premier League, 32 appearances, 5 goals. He also scored 4 more goals in the cup competitions that season, 9 goals for 35 appearances. Then he kicked on. He had his breakout season, 2014-15. He made 38 appearances and scored 14 goals in the Premier League, 45 appearances overall, 20 goals. He became a 20-goal-a-season man. Technically not, because they're meant to be in the league, but you know what I mean. And then the next season is when it started to sort of go, does he really want to be here anymore? Does he want a new contract?
Daniel Levy getting in the way again.
Yeah. So 2015-16, he made 31 appearances, but his goals did drop off. He only scored 4 Premier League goals, 35 appearances overall, 7 goals. And then the next season for West Brom, he only made 4 appearances,
It was
scoring
interesting.
no goals. Because what happened in that year?
Go on.
He
Remind
moved.
me.
He moved to Stoke. Remind me. He goes and remind me. I've no idea, Jason. I've not got it in front of me. I just completely soccer Saturday'd you there.
You did.
And he made 13 appearances for Stoke. And then the following season, he made 15 appearances for Stoke. By the way, in both of those seasons, he scored no goals for Stoke.
Mm.
And then in the Championship, he played in 2018-19, 23 appearances for Stoke, 3 goals in the Championship. Not the best, right? Because
No.
then he went to the Belgian First Division, where he's been since 2019, and in the first year, 22 appearances, 8 goals. The second year, 8 appearances, 2 goals. This year, before coming to us, he made 4 appearances, and now he's obviously come to us. Oh, he went on loan as well. Sorry, in the 2021 season. So he actually scored 4 goals, not 2 goals. But he made 20 appearances when he was on loan and only scored 2 goals. Might be some appearances. That seems to me like a player who was coasting after the first year in that Belgian First Division. Rather than making a name for himself and getting his career back on track, he was coasting by the looks of it. What do you think about his career?
It's there's what the media said and there's what he come out himself has said, which is interesting. Some of the stuff at West Brom sounded far-fetched and some of the stuff that got said, but then when you hear him talk about it, you actually believe him with some of the stuff that has happened. And I'm not going to mention what some of the stuff is because it'll demonetize the channel. I'm not going to do that. Because at the end of the day, he's a player that you can tell he's a player that's grown up by way of speaking and he's learning from the past experience now. And by the sounds of it, Stoke was just a depression trick for him that just didn't pay off at all. It didn't work and he just needed to leave.
What I want to say though, mate, at West Brom, he was threatening to strike.
Yeah.
Right? We have to say that there's some stuff we obviously won't go into, but the stuff that we will go, he was threatening to strike.
Young kid though.
He came, in 2016, 2017, not that young. In 2016, 2017, if you think about it. 23-ish, it'd have been. It's not too young when you think about the players that... This is the season he came back overweight, so he was signed extra stuff. He talked about it being the most difficult year of his career, causing him to feel depressed and things like that, which is never a great thing there. No. But obviously, when he's put on the weight, he's then obviously the medical staff are in their rights to go sort it out.
Yeah,
it was all about not putting the shift in for West Brom at that point.
He said he was doing it for attention. He actually says it in his interview. He was attention seeking. He's the kind of person, if it's not going right for him and not all about him, but somebody not coming in to check he's okay, it was his way of going, come and check I'm okay. Yeah. In a sense. And that's from his words. And there was an interesting clip in one of the interviews he did where he said he was sat in the dressing room and there was some young lad doing this, like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you doing that? And then it clicked with him and went, that's what I did. Now I understand why all the senior pros hated me and wanted to just get away from me. So he went and said, look, you don't need to do this. You're a cracking player. Calm it down. Let's have a talk. Let's do this. That showed me there's a player there that understands it more now and gets it. And I think he appreciates that he got a second chance with us in England again.
I do, because the thing is, what I do see is when he had his contract terminated at Stoke for the legal reasons that you can go into yourself, because obviously podcasts, we're keeping that level. If he was ever on and wanted to chat about it, we would do that, but we don't need to while we're talking about a player. But they terminated his contract, and he went straight away and started training with the Belgian club, right? So he did want to play football, be around football, keep training and going there. But he has spoken about it being attention-seeking. He's spoken about all of that, getting his career back on track. And what gets me, and I think this is the big thing that everybody's taking away from it, it's not unique, is the fact that he has spoken so much about more. It's more... you wouldn't want to mess with him for one, right?
No. And is it me? The more you see him, the more he looks like he's doing more at the gym. At the minute.
Too many more puns. But he's got that relationship with him. If you want to come back to England under a manager, and the fact that he even talked about coming back to Sheffield Wednesday on that podcast.
Yeah, he did.
With Rio. You know, he said, "You never know, let's see," sort of thing.
Call me up.
Yeah, call me up. And Darren Moore has called him up. I think I'm excited to see if we can get his career back on track.
This is the thing, though. This isn't the first time Darren Moore wanted him. Darren Moore wanted him back in 2018. He wanted him when he was he at Rovers then? He was, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wanted him then. It's obviously a player Darren Moore had been desperate to work with again. And as the thing I like about this is the fact that Darren Moore and BERHAHINO both turned around and said, I've got unfinished business. There's a player there that's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and I always like that in a player because it shows that they want to prove to people. When a player got something to prove, they are dangerous when they want. If their mindset's right, they can be dangerous to impress and do well. And especially if he's got a manager who he already thinks the world of him, and he already thinks the world of him back, and who can put an arm around him, this could be the best move for his career, especially under Darren Moore.
I agree. I think for footballing reasons, it's a brilliant, brilliant move. Hopefully he can get his career back on track. Maybe make sure he takes the bus. But other than that, a lot of people, right.
I have seen a lot of people say, stay away from City Centre, don't go near it. And what's interesting, I have already heard that there've been a couple of Wednesday player and current Wednesday player turn around and go, we want you here. Don't mess this up for us. And let's get it so you're away from any kind of temptation because we don't want that and you don't want that. And there's already players at the club care about him. But I wonder if that's Darren Moore going, we need to look after him.
I'm just saying, when he's driving around Sheffield, he better not be doing what he was convicted for in the past. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
There's a great tram to Middlewood. Get that.
Yeah, I did say just take the bus. You just completely glossed over it. You completely ruined my thing. It's fine. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. That's either going to be an absolute mess or we've stumbled on something.
It's going to be the best thing ever. It's going to turn into Franny Jeffers Part 2.
God.
Oh, who was the other one that used to always get injured? He used to always get injured at Burnley. Akpo Soji.
He's already doing better than Jay Bothroyd did with the fans, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.